please welcome back to the stage, Valerie Benty.
Hi, you're going to hear a lot about holes, too. My story today is about a time where I laid an egg. Yeah, I did not lay an egg. I'm not a chicken, clearly, but I thought I laid an egg. It goes downhill from here, just so you know. This was 10 years ago, so I, at the time, was studying abroad in France, but I got home for the holidays, which for me at the time was Belgium. And it's January 1st, I just had done like all the partying, because, you know, New Year's Day, and I wake up with this incredible stomach ache. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of panicking because the day after I was supposed to go back to France, and my mom decides, okay, we'll go to the doctor. Apparently there is a doctor on call on January 1st. Unlucky him. The doctor does the things, presses on my stomach, decides that I'm constipated. Great. What do you do against constipation? You get some laxatives. Apparently there's also a pharmacist on call on January 1st. Unlucky them. So I get the laxatives, take them. They do what they're supposed to do, hence the more holes in poop. I go to sleep. The next day, I wake up. There's no way I'm going to go on a flight. I am on the floor in so much pain. So my mom's like, I'm not going to drive you to the airport. I'm going to drive you to ER. Go to ER, and the doctor's there. Do the same things. They press on my stomach, and lucky for me, they take a CT scan, because otherwise they wouldn't have found this. Turns out I had appendicitis. The first doctor, not his fault that he didn't find it, because I had a weird case of appendicitis. Apparently, I did not know this, I don't know if any of you know this, but sometimes your body decides to be like super protective and creates this little pocket around the appendix just in case it would burst. So my guts had rearranged itself and formed around my appendix just in case, and just be like super protective of me. I'm like, thank you, body, but also that means they can't operate because it's kind of a more complicated operation than simple just removing an appendix. So I can't get operated. I have to stay in the hospital instead of going back to France skiing. And they just put me on some very severe antibiotics through my veins. I get IV antibiotics. My veins do not like this very well. My veins get all calcified. They have to stick them in like 6 different places. I'm in the hospital for a little over a week. The nurses have no idea what the Wi-Fi password is. I can see it on my computer. It exists. I can't get onto it. I'm just watching a lot of movies. Apparently, a lot of reruns are just like from the day before, and then in the afternoon, which you notice when all you do all day is watching television. Eventually, I do get a little bit better. They decide to take the IV out, finally, from the 6th place. Give me some more antibiotics, this time in pill form, and send me home, tell me to stay in the country just for a little bit, just in case something else goes wrong. 3 days later, I'm back at the hospital. My appendix had burst. Remember, my body had done like a smart thing and protected me from making it like a whole mess of infection, but it was just a little pocket of infection. But they did have to drain that out. And the doctor gave me the choice of either putting a tube up through my vagina and then into where that little pocket of pus was, or through my anus. One of them sounded a little less painful and less gross things happening there, so I picked the vagina route. I go under. It's only like a very mild anesthesia. It's not a huge operation. They just have to stick a tube through a wall. Wake up with 2 bags hanging. One's like the catheter, and one's this bag of pus. It's very sexy. It's great when you like go home from being like studying abroad because all your friends want to see you, and it's great when you're in the hospital because that means that you're like on a central location where all your friends can come visit you. And it's great when you have bags of bodily fluids when your friends come visit you. Anyway, when they take out the catheter, I can do all the normal toilet things again. So first time I go back to the bathroom, I feel this thing start sliding down in a place where usually things don't really come out. And it like plops into the toilet with a plop. And like that. felt weird. I don't know what that is. I turn around, as you would, and look into the toilet. My butt's still bare because I'm wearing a robe thing, so there's just like he's bare anyway. And I see in the toilet, it's this egg-shaped thing. It is off-white, has like some blood on it. It's just like really smooth and oval, and I guess I laid an egg. I don't know if I could do that. Or like, did the appendix just pop out? Is that like a pocket of pus? Did it get hard and like just come through my vagina? Well, I don't know. I didn't know I had a cloaca, but apparently I call the nurse and I'm like, that came out of me. What is that came out? It was a ball of gauze that the doctor had forgotten to take out. Which, granted, like, there's worse places to forget things as a doctor. This is like sort of external, but yeah. I laid an egg. The nurse did check to make sure that there weren't any other eggs up there. And I get to like wait for the thing to keep on draining, and eventually they pull out the tube, and the doctor comes and tells me, like, yeah, there's like a hole between your vaginal wall and your abdomen, so just be like a little bit more careful. For those in the audience that know that douching is usually not recommended, this is the one case where it is. That's your PSA. The doctor also said, because I brought up that I was expecting to get my period, I was like, yeah, so like blood's going to be coming out. Is it going to go into my abdomen? Because that doesn't sound fun. And the doctor's like, yeah, sure. Just use tampons and just like change them maybe twice a day. Clearly this person, the doctor, had never had a period or sex ed class as someone socializes them, I guess, yeah. So for those who don't know, you're supposed to change your tampon at least every 8 hours, and when there's a hole in your vagina, probably more often. That's your second PSA. Okay, so this is my second. I was like in the hospital, I went home for a bit, I'm back in the hospital. I'm starting to get better. I managed to like read multiple books. Still a little annoyed that I can't just go back to classes. I finally figure out what the Wi-Fi password is, and then the day after I get to go home. Yeah, so the funny thing is, I actually still have my appendix. It's a little mangled, part of it exploded, but they never took it out. What I do have in my pocket is my doctor's phone number, so that just in case I ever get another appendicitis, which is pretty rare to get to, that the new doctor can call this old doctor and be like, why is there half an appendix in this person? Why is it infected again? Yeah, so turns out I did not lay an egg, but I definitely thought I did. And I also feel like I had the weirdest case of appendicitis possible. When I went back to France, my friend, who was also studying abroad there with me, had an appendicitis, like a month later. I did not know these were contagious or not. And lucky for him, he only went to the hospital for 3 days. But yeah, that was my story. Thank you so much for listening.